Welcome back to the final piece of today here on stream 2, is it, or whatever it is that we're on. I'd like to welcome Masoud Golshani Shirazi, the VP of HR for Ajun Coca-Cola. Masoud has promised me that he will not do what poor Howard did, which was to try and throw himself off the stage to ensure that you remembered the session, okay? He's ensured that. However, as you can see, he has brought some plants or some wildlife with him, which I have no idea what that's about. So I think particularly when you're looking at global talent practices, he's going to be trying to look at it not just from an HR perspective, but also from a business perspective. So, Masoud, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I am, in fact, very humbled to be speaking here, because yesterday I was in the session with Tom Peters, and it really struck me that we're listening to an expert. And he was saying that he had done the presentation, I don't know, 3,000 times, etc. Well, I'm a student, so I'm going to be sharing with you my learning from the last 26, 27 years that I've been involved in one way or another with talent development. And in fact, as the technical people will tell you, even the last 2 sessions, I learned quite a lot. And if they would have let me, I would have changed my presentation. But you're the first people to see this presentation. The reality is there's 2 things that are absolutely central to what I do and what I need to deliver. Organizational transformation to fit the needs that the business will have in the future, and talent. Those are the 2 things. So talent is really very, very important to me. And I'm not standing saying all the answers are here, but I have picked up some learnings that I think help us keep the good war going. Because we haven't won the battle, but we've been fighting the good fight and keeping things going, and with some, hopefully few successes for a good few years, whether in my current company or for 13 years that I was with Vodafone looking at things globally. I'm going to talk very briefly about what's happening in terms of talent as I see it across the world and the trends, and then really start thinking about this region. What's happening here? Is there anything different? And then finally, really talk about the key things that are my personal objectives about what I'm going to do to try and do better at this war. And what I'm going to share with you is also what my head of talent and my CEO, this is our joint strategy about what we're going to do. So, we're in the Middle East. This is the cradle of civilization. We have to take a historical look at our issues. And talent is one of those. Because when I think about the history of the region, I think that for thousands of years, people have gone to war over land. And land was the critical success factor across the world. People died fighting for it, kings thought about it, even small farmers just thought about how they could have more land. Then the Industrial Revolution happened. And everything became about capital. And we all became capitalists. And that was the critical factor, and all the focus of time for individuals was how to get a better return on that capital. I believe, and I think some prominent thinkers think, that the future and the critical resource for success will be talent. And that means that all the stuff that we've been talking about in terms of how much time and effort the organization is spending doing budgeting versus how much time and effort the organization is spending looking at talent needs to change. There are no shortage of people who are actually saying this. Because really, when you think about it, the hunt for growth, and that's what we're all about, there is not a single thing that drives growth that does not require talent. Just imagine any kind of M&A activity, any kind of product development, any kind of change your operating model. How that would be possible without the right talent. And I have to say, Peter's presentation before was absolutely perfect. Yes, we have to look at where the critical positions are, and not every part of the organization has the same need at the same time. Also, the quantity and quality of talent needs to be plotted. But this is absolutely amazing. Now, there's a couple of other things that surprised me. One is, there is a massive amount of change coming. We all know that the region especially is going through change. Financial institutions are changing. My company operates in 15 different countries across the region. And what I was used to, what I was taught when I did my MBA in 1988 was, you have to build the right processes, the right systems, the right structures, and then things will be safe. Things will work, the McDonald way. This is, the standard. Well, I'm here to tell you that if you're in a place and suddenly the currency in Iran collapses by 70% in 2 months, Egypt, the currency in Egypt, Libya, Iraq, Yemen, Bahrain. There are no easy places. Financial institutions. If you look at this, what is the critical thing that still makes the organization successful, that still delivers the bottom line? Not your systems, not your processes, not the structure, the people. Because we're moving fast into chaos management. And this is very much what Tom Peters was saying yesterday. That at the end of the day, it's about try, lots of different things till you get the success. So I believe that the need for talent will get higher. The criticality of that for our success will not diminish. I'm sort of, I guess, one of the oldest people in the room. And I can tell you, things were not this difficult in the past. Things are getting tougher, getting the talent. But why is that? When we talk about 205 million people unemployed, 50% of under 30s unemployed in Greece, 40% in Spain, even in our own region. We have a lot of talent here, huge amount of talent. How many of them are able and ready to take the jobs that are vacant? Really? We're talking about employability here. There is a huge swing, and this is not going to go away, it's going to get worse. We have a very financially attractive region, thank God. We have a lot of things in our favor here. People want to come and work here. People want to come and live here globally. We should benefit from that. We have localization, and the intention is perfect. Of course we have to develop the local talent. There is no other choice. But we know that some of the rules and some of the way we do it is restrictive, and therefore it requires us to be very realistic about how we do things around here. The local costs of different types of labor are not uniformed. They are different. And by the way, the countries from which we used to source a lot of those people are also changing. Let me tell you, when you're talking about India having wage inflation of 11 and 12% every single year, and the economy itself suddenly growing, how attractive is it to a talented Indian worker or even one of the mass workers to leave their families and come all the way here if they can get similar level pay in their own country? Same in Philippines, same in Sri Lanka. We know that we need to be sensitive to the local culture, and to be successful in that culture, it's absolutely essential. Therefore, there are some restrictions about recruiting young women into a particular country, or particular passport holders, or particular ethnicity. There is reality there about restrictions that we are facing. And the last one, when I first came here, the idea was, look, everybody's here on an expat type assignment, and therefore everyone's temporary. I don't believe that actually, because in my own company, we have a vast number of people with more than 25 to 30 years service. So there are some perceptions there. The upshot of it is, what I'm going to talk about in terms of global talent practices and their effectiveness, I don't see that the region has anything that's significantly different. That means that the truth is going to be different here. However, we need to plan more here. We need to plan more within the realities of what we are talking about. What we've done in the past is not going to work in the future. This, I guess, is a truism. I don't know about you, I just see this all the time. I'm thinking that I did the best I could with the tools I had all these years to get the talent the organization needs for the future. And things are going to get tougher. So I'm going to need some new ideas. And that's what I want to share with you, is those ideas. Because the recipe for winning the war is simple. How many of you have this as your strategy for talent? Can you have your hands up if this is your idea of how to win the war for talent? Just one, two, come on. As far as I'm concerned, this is what I've been working on for the last 20 years at least, plus. And what it actually drives to is a clear strategy. And don't worry, I mean, all of these would be in the pack, so I don't want you to read it, but a clear strategy about talent, a talent pool with clear PP metrics, as we call it, potential and performance, so that you've got differentiation for those. A talent pipeline up the organization, and these are, by the way, actually our company's real systems and processes. And an annual talent cycle. So every year we identify talent, we develop those, we verify those through assessment centers, and we have development plans for them. So that we have bench strength ready for the future. Now, I really want to do a poll here. Please help me out. How many of you here work for organizations or are in running organizations where you have some of these templates? Just put your hands up. Okay. Pretty common, huh? Okay. How many of you here think that you have enough talent in your organization for your future needs? But nobody? Nobody at all? Do you know how much time and effort me and my team have put into developing these, and nobody is grateful, and nobody comes works here, nobody comes and gets developed? I mean, it's absolutely disgraceful. I can't even tell you how many tens of millions of dollars I have personally spent with SHL, with Hay Group, with God knows who, doing development centers over the years. Assessment for recruitment, psychometrics, so many meetings. How much time and effort do we put doing the assessment of the people for their potential with the line managers? How much is that mean in terms of your bottom line? Cash. So why isn't it delivering the value? What's going on? They promised me that if I did these things, I would have enough talent in the organization for our future needs. But I still can't sleep at night. I still have a worry. I still can't find a country manager for Iraq. There's a reason for that, but anyway, it's still a worry. And I think the reason is very much what Tom Peters said yesterday in one of his slides. It's because all of these things were relatively easy to do. They cost money, but they were easy to do. Because they were on the hard. They were focusing on strategy, structure, systems, processes. And you know what? Maybe I'm being unfair. Maybe 20 years ago when I first started, they would have still worked better than now. But the slide we had on change and the speed of change and the chaos that's happening means that that hard is no longer the answer. We have to give more of ourselves, more attention, more love to the process. And really, really focus on the soft stuff. Because there's some realities coming.